This video is made possible by our loyal Patreon supporters. Visit patreon.com.
This is Athena Jezik, and I'm going to be doing a little back work here on Corrina today. We just finished an hour-long lymphatic drainage tutorial and showing some things for the full hour. It's going to be on our patron station, so if you're interested to see more videos that we're going to be producing there that are going to go into much more detail, please visit that. You can check it in the links below. Be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. And if you haven't already, follow us on social media for tips, tutorials, giveaways, and daily inspiration. But right now, we're just going to get into the back and see if we can keep these muscles nice and long and without any crepitus in it, which there's a little bit there at the shoulder blade. Okay, and we get down in there. It's very good to work along that spine. There's a saying, they say you're only as old as your spine. So it's important to take measures to keep the spine in very good condition, posturally as well as functionally. Okay, I'll start over on this side, and we'll do the trapezius work. Just moving right along. When my hand flies out like that, it's because I'm catching hairs. So let's get down. She's a little tight right here for some reason. A little tighter than it should be. And there's the tip of it, and let's work the self up. There's some word definitions that might be important to distinguish. When the word massage is used, it typically means muscle work, myotherapy, muscle work. A lot of times massage is attached to other things, but technically it is really just about working the muscles. The other systems are, when they're worked, they could probably be called massage in that you're working them and palpating them, such as the lymph system, but you're not really doing massage because you're not working the muscle, you're working the lymphatic system and the lymphatic vessels. So that's just a little distinction. I think it's very important that we are clear on some of the words that we use and understand the definitions for clarity. We can communicate better with each other that way as well. I've even heard people, when I do cranial work, that I'm doing a cranial massage, which technically by the terms would mean I'm just rubbing their head. When there's a lot more things going on than that. So just to kind of play with it, it's not anything of great importance, but it is a distinction. Okay, so we got this one worked pretty well. Let's get under the shoulder blade here because she was a little tight. Up in through here. Bring that up. More range of motion. Okay, I'm going to be heading to the other side, and we will be doing the same thing. Stretching that trapezius muscle. And as you notice, I go like just down the different fiber lines, trying to stay very focused and thorough with what I do. Massage therapy has broad sweeping strokes, but I have always been one to prefer the more fine-tuned origin to insertion of the muscles type of work. And under here, I'm going to lift that up. I think she's been rearranging too many lights and cameras to get her shoulders a little bit tighter than usual. And sweeping down. Getting into this back. You know, sometimes it might appear that I'm moving rather quickly, which I kind of am. But the thing is I'm not moving quickly and being a little more sloppy, I could say, with my work. I'm still very thorough and very distinct as to where I am and what I'm doing. It's just that my hands have been doing this for so many years that they don't have to move as slowly to get the work done as efficiently. But if you're starting into massage therapy, please take your time and go slow and learn what there is to learn about how these different muscles feel. Sometimes it's good to just get an image of the skeleton with muscles on it and just think about that picture and what you're on while you're working. And then after a while, it's like the hands know where to go in a way that you just can't explain, like a muscle memory. And then you can begin to think about other things while you're doing the work, because it becomes so much more part of you, and then you can still distinguish when you find something wrong or that needs extra attention. So I'm going to go to the other side, and we're going to do the spinal work, where it's a vertebral vibration. You know, this work along the spine gets down right where those little nerves are coming out through the dural sleeves, giving it some space and getting these muscles that are so tightly attached to holding the structure in place, giving them a chance to breathe, you could say, kind of move around. It helps for range of motion and feeling of a little bit more flexibility after the muscle gets warmed. So here we're finding nice, deep. You can see I'm kind of rolling my thumb. And always, if you're doing this work, you want to make sure that your hands are in a good position of alignment, because your hands will wear out. They will get stiffer and sorer as time goes on. And if you take yourself out of alignment physically, not only with your hands, but with your arms and back and everything, you will pay for it. If you do this for very long, you will find that it does take a toll. And here we're going on the wide part of the back muscles. So now we're getting to the outside of this big erector spinae, and then getting up into the trapezius. And then we can do a second vertebral vibration. Down we go. Now, something that's kind of fun to do is finding the sacrum and getting your hands on the edge of the sacrum there, and then also taking the fingers to the base of the skull. There's a technique here which I'm not going to really go into a whole lot of detail in this particular video. This will probably be something that'll show up later, but this is the way you can give a little stretch to the dural tube. It's a different system. It's a cranial system, but you can get a little stretch with there. Now, this involves very light work. It involves a lot of focus, and it also involves some energy work to be able to attach to that structure that you cannot palpate through the physical. So there's some very interesting things that can be explored. And what I can feel here is I can feel the stretching, and I can also feel some shifting in the sacrum itself. So that's just something that you can kind of play with, and nothing is deep at all. So I'm going to bring this back up. Now when you come up the spine opens. When you go down the spine, it's closing just in the structure of it. So she's getting a little bit of opening of each vertebrae going up to the neck, to the base of the skull. And then this is going, you don't want to be on the bone, you want to be in between the bones. Just adding circulation and stimulation to this area. And my hands, not so much when I do massage therapy. I don't do much of that anymore. But when I do cranial work or lymphatic work, oftentimes the vibration of people on the table is coming to a level to match my vibration, and they actually can hear my hands buzz in their ears. I can feel the vibration. And sometimes people get so sensitive that when they're vibrating, they can actually hear it when I'm on their foot. I can feel it maybe on their leg or foot. But some people are so sensitive they can actually hear the very vibration. When I use the bowls, the chime, the sounds, the tones of the bowls, of the Tibetan singing bowls that are old bowls, most of the time the vibration, after it's broken up a little more from the sound, if there's energy stuck, the vibration will be stronger in their ears, the sound is louder, and the vibration that I feel is much stronger. So there's a whole energetic component to all of this that can be explored, and if there's interest in it, we may pursue that. So now we can just take a nice run up the spine, and then we can just place our hand just across there, meld to the body, just kind of press it in, meld to the body, and then lift it out physically a little bit, but stay connected. And then very, very, very slowly move up the spine where you're feeling, it almost feels like there's a little magnetic piece between the hand and the back. It's not really pushing very hard. Sometimes you can feel the muscles beginning to relax a little deeper, because oftentimes with massage, if you go in too rough or too fast or too deep, the muscles are going to push back. So in some cases, they don't get as relaxed as they could. So that's why, in my opinion, it's much better to go gently into the body. You can get deeper that way than forcing your way in. And that kind of comes to the point of the way a therapist is going to work, whether she's going to be in charge of the session or whether she's going to let the body on the table be in charge of the session. Because many therapists are in their own way to do the more intuitive kind of work. So now we can go down the vertebrae, going around these bones. You don't want to be on the bone, you want to go around the bone, giving stimulus to probably a little bit the nerve, but just stimulating the muscles that have been so hardworking at supporting the body. And okay, and you get down to the very end. You can do a wrapping. Now this is where your fingers are going to just kind of go in. It looks like it's deep. It's deeper than a lot of the other work I do. It is going into the tissue, but you want to kind of spread your fingers, and you want to move so that you're hitting all the spots. You know, you don't want to move up too quickly. You want to repeat kind of where you've been as you're traveling up. And then when you get to the rib cage, try to find the ribs and go between them. And that way you can get a little bit of work on the intercostal muscles, which are the muscles between the ribs. And it feels kind of good to do that. And then you'll walk around to the other side, doing the same thing, wrapping downward. And when you get to the ribs, you're going between them and around the shoulder blade. And then you can come back to the side and wrap coming up this way for a wrap. Just tightening it, pulling it in toward the spine. This is a little bit, you're also getting a little bit of organ stimulus going. Not really on the organs, but you know, you're just so close to it, and the wrapping with the fascia is getting a little bit of activity going there as well. And then the other side. Okay, and then a nice way to stop sometimes is to go back down and find the edge of the sacrum. Here's the hip, and then the edge of the sacrum, and just place the fingers along there. And then also place the fingers at the base of the skull. Now this is a technique that's more of a cranial technique. It has some energetic components to it, so it would be important to really learn this technique, but I'm going to show it to you. And it's what we're doing here is we're actually stretching the dural tube, which is in the cranial system. It's that tube that goes around the brain and spinal cord. Now I just felt a little bit of an alignment happen down in her sacrum from this. It's shifting and kind of bubbling feeling. These are the sort of things that you're not going to get with a lot of pressure when you use massage therapy. These are the sort of things that massage cannot work out. This is a whole different technique, and it does require some energy work. If there's interest in it, we may very well put it on to the patron station for you all to discover another level of all this work. And then taking the hand and just slowly melding with the back and bringing it up. Slowly, just kind of like you're ironing everything out. But when you learn the energy technique of this, you back out physically, you push in energetically, and you begin to feel things in a different way than physical feeling. You begin to feel things at an energetic level. And up we go, and there's a lot of little shifting. I can really feel the energy building. I usually hold over the crown chakra, and then I let it all go as it's out. So the cranial system, just a little note here, is the cranial system does work very tightly with the chakra systems. So that's something else to be explored. So there you go. Thank you so much, and I hope you enjoyed the video.
Introducing Yoga Plus, offering a free series every month with over 300 different videos. Take control of your health. Work out anytime, anywhere. Yoga Plus. Download now for free.